Hi Martin, welcome to episode 92 of Eliminating Rounds. Glasses on, serious face. How are we doing?
Hello, Dave. You all right?
I'm good, I'm good.
Yeah.
We are going to go through the Eliminating Rounds quarterfinals, semi-finals,
It's the one before the final.
semi-finals.
Yeah.
Okay, all
It's the
right.
semi-finals.
And we're looking at Guryev's headquarters, which a divisive scenario, would you say? Or would you say, because it's number one, that's number one, the very first one.
Divisive in what sense? I mean,
Well,
there's confusion about one of the special rules.
yeah, and whether or not people enjoy the scenario as well. So there's I've got to say, me playing it, I felt like it was impossible, but I mean it's balanced. So who am I to say?
Yeah, yeah.
It's not.
Which side did you play?
I played no spoilers, but I played the Russians.
All right, we have spoiled that, haven't we?
Yeah, people are going to turn off right now.
Yeah, you're not the only person who found it very difficult as the Russians.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because it is a relatively balanced scenario. So
yeah, that's true.
So it is, and so obviously, given that it's been going for so long, you would think that if there's a big flaw in the scenario, it would have been found and discussed and even rectified because it's been reprinted since. So it'll be interesting to see what other people think, and if you've played it recently and not part of the tournament, feel free to leave a comment about what you think about this scenario. So what else have you been up to though before we get into the nitty gritty?
I've got 840 subscribers now on my other channel.
Is there anything else you'd like to hawk whilst we're here?
And there's several names I recognise recently became subscribers from. So if you are one of those ASL players who very kindly subscribed to my other channel, then thank you very much for that.
And you were telling me you've done how many episodes on one particular part of Crusader Kings?
Yeah, 42.
42 episodes on one.
42 episodes, starting as the Duke of Bohemia, and ending up uniting all the Slavic territory in the whole of Europe, which is huge.
It is huge. Wow.
Yeah.
So, and you can tune in today to see that.
Oh yeah, I wasn't attempting to just plug that or anything, but So the final episode of that 42 is tonight, and it's at 5:00 UK time. And I'm doing it as a premiere. I've never done that before on YouTube. Premiere is where it's shown in real time, the recorded video, and you're able to interact with anyone that's watching it. People can make comments. And, you idiot! Why'd you do that? That sort of thing.
Okay, well, listen, I'll check it out. I'll be there.
Thank you, David. So this is my first premiere. My premiere.
Your premiere. Yeah, excellent. Yeah. Well, that's good to hear. Now, we've always known that you're a bit of a housewife's choice, the housewife's favourite.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm beating them off with a shitty stick most of the time. Yeah.
Well, I mean that's what ASL does, for players. Most as ASL players will be aware. But you've been complimented on your French pronunciations and the like. You want to talk about that?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I've had an issue with the pronunciation of the word bocage or bocage for some time. Often you hear people say bocage. English-speaking people often say bocage. I've always thought that sounds a little bit affected. It sounds to me like they're trying to make it sound French because they know it's a French word. But we don't say garage, we say garage. We don't say vicarage, we say vicarage. Yeah. So I think, right, bocage, that should be pronounced bocage by English speakers, and French can do their thing. It's their word. They can go and do their thing. So I've been pronouncing it bocage. You pronounce it bocage. And we're both wrong, but I'm a lot more wrong than you. Okay, so I've had this corrected by Ben Jones's wife, who's been in touch, including with a lovely little sort of sound recording. And basically, it's worth noting that we also say words like barrage and mirage in the French style. So I was thinking it sounded very affected to make it sound French. But actually, there's lots of words we do that with, like mirage and barrage. So I've been told it should be pronounced in your way, Arge, but it's not O, it's not Bo, it's Bocage, Bocage. And I was also told that I say it too posh. They don't drink tea in France with their little pinky stuck up. So it should be like Bocage or something like that. So there we are. From now on, I am going to call it Bocage.
Okay.
Bocage. I probably won't do the O, the bo, because that sounds too French. It's Bocage.
Okay.
That's how I should pronounce it in future. And if it sounds affected, well, tough, I've been told.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And it is difficult to know how to pronounce foreign words, because I think we said to you, when we talk about Paris, we don't say I'm going to Paris tomorrow.
Exactly. This is what I was thinking. My thoughts. Yeah.
But it is a tricky one. But of course, we're always grateful for anyone correcting us, and it happens quite often. So
at least this time it wasn't a rule that we got wrong that it basically invalidated an entire game we played.
That's that, which makes a change, doesn't it? Which makes a change. We played, before we get into talking about the Guryev's headquarters, we played a very good scenario from the Hasmo pack #1, and we played the Blood of Lambs. We did it face to face, so I got a few pictures that I'll put up, but we don't have a replay of it or anything. What a good scenario. So proper, meaty. It took us all day, but we were certainly, I've noticed that the longer you and I play together, the more distracted we are about everything else other than ASL. I think when we very first started playing, we kind of shut everything else out that we were playing. If we were playing something, okay, well, it doesn't matter if children are screaming or nappies needed changing or whatever. There was someone to do it, or there was, something would happen to get it sorted out. But now it's almost like, if there's a milk bottle bumps outside, we'll go and have a look at it, make sure it's okay. Or if something else goes on. And so I think we were quite distracted when we played Blood of Lambs. I had my kids coming over at different times, and there was different lunches and dinners and breakfasts. I don't know. We did all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Having said that, it was a really good scenario, wasn't it? So it was biggish scenario. I think eight or 9 turns.
Yeah.
And there's 25 or so squads on each side, a whole bunch of vehicles on each side as well. And I think what made it such an interesting scenario was that the Germans, which have a massive advantage in terms of quality, in terms of their tanks and their troops, have so much to do. You have to come over a hill, clear the whole hill, and then take, I don't know what it was, 13 out of the 15 buildings or some ridiculous,
something like that. And if even a single half squad sneaks back onto the hill, then that's it. You haven't got the victory conditions. So it was a lot to do. It ended up being very close, I think.
It was. I think it was closer than we both think it was. I think you called it at the end against you. I think that we probably would have found a win for you. We both thought we'd lost. I think I literally had like one squad left. I think one. It was crazy. You were, you had lots of squads left. I think probably 8 or 9 squads, but out of the battle, almost like too far away. But it was, I think it was really, really good. And so I would definitely recommend it as I'd say a whole day scenario, but you could definitely play it quicker.
It's a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun, I think, to have that kind of attacking into some depth, not just sort of, capturing the next building, but having to go over a number of obstacles. It was interesting.
Yeah, that's right. And the speed bumps weren't speed bumps, were they? They were proper concentrated masses of 4 or 5 squads with a medium machine gun in the middle of it that you've got to get over and then over to the next one. And so it was where, for example, I think we get so used to, the defender pulling back on the first sign of some fire and he's got to skulk out the way. In this one, it felt like, okay, well, I absolutely could do that, but I could also stand and fight with some strength. And because you can defend across the width of a whole board, you could have 3 or 4 separate battles going on at once. So really good scenario. So kudos to the Hasbro guys. I think that's been the best scenario I think we've played from that pack in particular. But it's a really good. So I think we've talked about that pack quite a lot. I've been really impressed with it. I think it's been a really nice meaty pack. So good stuff there. And now on to Guryev's headquarters.
Absolutely.
You want to pronounce that properly, don't you?
I have no idea how it's pronounced properly. But yeah, feel free if you know to get in and tell us how we're supposed to be pronouncing.
We'll have some proper speakers of that one. Right. Okay. So this is me playing against Doug Rimmer to start with. I am the Russians. I took there's a series replay of this in one of the annuals. I want to say maybe.
That's right. Yeah, I think it's an annual.
So I definitely took a look at that and decided what I should be doing to make sure that I didn't spoil this scenario from the start. I think the series replay has I1. I think this hex here as the hip guys for the medium machine gun. I think maybe. And the deal is that these guys are going to try and stand and fight for a little while and then pull back to the victory location and try and stop people getting across the road. Now, and it feels like this hip guy here, which Martin, you probably can't see, but there's a
I can't see.
Yeah, there's a hip guy here.
Oh yeah, in there. Yeah.
And there's a hip guy in here as well, just to try and kind of cause as much problems. And there is a school of thought that says, and we might see this in some of the other scenarios, that you can come around this side. There is time, 7 turns to get around this side if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So you've got to be mindful of that. But obviously Doug chose not to do that. So do you remember playing this one, Martin? I don't know if you've...
I have played it. I didn't play it this event, this tournament, but I played it a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Doug's initial turn.
Yeah, so you are the...
I'm the Russians.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And it's basically just opportunity fire and everything is effectively what he's going to be doing and then obviously he's going to tempt me with a little bit
of... half squads, doesn't he?
The half squad's coming across.
And he knows there's a machine gun covering that road, doesn't he?
That's right.
Even though it's hip,
Yeah. Now, the problem here is that straight away, I mean, you get the wall advantage here from these guys.
That's right, yeah.
And so it's not as effective fire as you'd like to think. And so straight away, it's quite likely. I mean, I get some good results there with a double 6 on the morale check. So fire lane comes along and takes another one out here, and then pins one guy and then breaks with the sniper. So all going well for me to start with here. But the fire coming back is just horrendous. It's I mean, it's on the 36s. It's just, you kind of almost want to point at a guy and just you get to break him, Now the problem I found here is that the upstairs buildings here, the upstairs floors, are not able to be got down from, and this is one of those things you might want to be aware of before you start pulling back. So as you'll see, I started to pull back thinking, okay, I'm being quite smart here with a bunch of guys.
But they're actually just trapped upstairs.
That's right. Yeah, my guys are broken. Well, the lead at least is broken here in the machine gun. And this is turn 1, so I already feel like I'm kind of getting a bit battered. You have this dice roll at the start of each turn to see how many troops can come in. You've got to roll lower than the turn number to get them.
Yeah.
So
it is worth pointing out that by using a whole turn to sort of prep fire and opportunity fire, they can still advance, but they've only got to go about 7 hexes anyway, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Five, in fact, to L1. Yeah.
Half squad goes berserk, flies into the medium machine gun, which probably breaks itself. And the Germans are pretty much across the road, which is it's not a good sign. And so obviously, turn 2, I'm not going to get any reinforcements this turn. There's some prisoners already surrendering into the gully. And I mean, if you look at the top right hand side of what the Germans have got available, so it's completely scary. So Germans coming up, and now I have cleared out the berserk guy, and I've repaired the medium machine gun. I lost a half squad in that, but that's a pretty good result for me.
Yes. And you've got some guys getting out of the building.
Yes, yeah. So
I love the story of this. I love how you got like almost a whole company of Russians in that building, and a handful managed to escape to get back to the next
well, that's
defensive
it.
building.
Yeah. So I get the heavy back.
Mm,
That's kind of important, but it's
mm. Not enough.
no, no, it's not enough.
Wow.
So turn 3, still no reinforcements. So this, in theory, I might get a couple of squads back on this
Mm,
turn, and at that point, with no guys coming back on again,
mhm,
and my guys breaking inside the victory building,
mm.
we
It's
call
game
it here.
over.
It's
Yeah, yeah,
it's game
yeah.
over. There's
You were
literally
absolutely steamrolled there. I mean, watching that doesn't feel like a well balanced scenario.
no,
Just watching that playing of it.
exactly. So I'm
Yeah,
intrigued to see how other people get on.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I mean, to take nothing away from Doug, he played that perfectly against
Absolutely,
my
yeah, yeah.
poor setup. So
Mm,
so well done to Doug. So that's our playing done. That was we were in the loser bracket, I think. So
yeah.
I don't think that's going on into any final.
I
But
think you were the winning losers.
with the winning losers, okay,
Yeah,
all right,
because you were in the last round's loser
okay,
bracket,
okay,
but won.
okay, okay. All right. So let's move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Go.
All right.
Hmm.
All right. So in this one we've got Tom Repetti as the Russians, and we have Tuomo Lucari
Yeah,
as the Germans.
can't call him Tom. Now it's worth pointing out, isn't it, the victory
Hmm.
conditions
Yeah,
of
yeah,
this one. So it's not even taking this building at the back; it's just having more unbroken squads.
that's right.
So
That's right. So
yeah,
specifically, more unbroken squad equivalents, yeah, in that
right.
building.
Now, obviously,
Um,
we don't see the hips in these ones, so there'll be some hip guys somewhere.
no doubt popping up, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but we do see. So we don't see the heavy, for example.
Yeah.
We don't see the medium.
Yeah, so those are the ones that Tom's hipped.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Away you go then. Take us forward.
Right. Okay, so is this different? I suppose we're just
It
doing.
seems, yeah. I mean, I had a little bit more in the front building, and
Mm,
didn't have anyone in the rubble there in
so
M1.
I think the rubble is an important position actually,
Yeah.
just because you've got the potential to prevent people from claiming wall advantage in C3 and D3.
Right. Right. But I just think, like, why wouldn't you put someone in C1 to get some shots off into C3 and then pull back into the rubble?
Mm,
But
yeah.
I mean, don't listen to me on this
Yeah.
scenario because I knew nothing.
All right, so we got opportunity fire again.
Yep.
Obviously concerned about the same issue, but there doesn't seem to be any few.
Here's
Oh,
yeah.
now that's an interesting position, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And the Brave led with the squads there
The
as well.
squad. Yeah. Didn't really work out either. Oh no, they're getting straight across the. Oh no, they're not getting straight. Yes, they got straight across the road with a dash, presumably.
Yep.
Look what we got going on down here.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah,
here's the first.
He's going round.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first time we're seeing these going around.
Hmm. Getting a couple of shots from long range there.
Yep.
A lot of broken Russian units.
German units or?
Well, I'm thinking of F1, D2.
Oh, all right.
Two broken squads there, isn't
Right,
there?
right.
We got an encircled Russian unit in B2. I mean, there's a lot of similarity. There's differences, but there's a lot of similarities to your game.
Yeah, yeah. It's a scenario that often, I guess, will play out quite similar until you kind of get quite nuanced with it, and
but he's got a lot more guys.
Yeah, there's a real strong
surviving,
point
isn't
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
in E1.
That's right.
Yeah, trying to take that.
We didn't get. Did we get any reinforcements? We didn't get reinforcements.
No, you won't get it on turn 1. You might get it on turn 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to roll less than the turn number, and then that's the number of units that can come on.
So at best on turn 2, you get 1 unit.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Feels like a long time to wait for the Russians.
Yeah, exactly that. It just and also if the Germans have anybody in, like, for example, G2.
Yeah.
Or N2, it's very hard to get those guys on as well.
Yeah.
But
of course, that's what Tomo's hoping to do, isn't it? Is get behind a little bit.
Yes. Yeah.
But they're straight through the rubble.
Yeah.
The Germans, aren't they? Coming fast now.
Okay. Well, nice.
I mean,
The Russians are kind of holding them off.
Yeah. They're certainly having more, having a bit more luck with holding that building.
Yeah. Yeah, they've.
Yeah, absolutely.
Held them off.
The other side's collapsing now, isn't it? He's just broken in M1. That's not good news. That's the medium as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's now being defended, isn't it, by a load of broken units?
Right.
And he's getting another squad in. Got reasonable quality, the Russians, eh? Got 4.58s and stuff. But look, the Germans are around now, around the back. I think that's going to make it very, very difficult for the Russians now.
The Russians playing on, which is
yeah. Not easy to beat, Tom.
No. And maybe this is what I did wrong, in that even if the Germans take the building, the Russians will always get some reinforcements again.
Yeah.
So I suppose there's always a counterattack at some point.
Yeah.
In the scenario, but
yeah, Russians getting mangled now, but they have got. Yeah, there we go. That's where Tom's called it there.
And Tom's called it there on turn 3 as well, right? So it's the same as me. Yeah.
Very similar. It's very similar. I say there were differences, but very similar to your game in terms of how the Russians collapsed really quickly and didn't get any reinforcements.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe that's the thing. We've got to accept to lose this building and try and get it back in. Okay, all right. On to the next one. Okay, so we have Mike Grogan as the Russians. We have Steve Slunt as the Germans. Let's see how our plucky Russians get on this time.
Okay, let's have a look.
So similar kind of setup again. Nothing.
Yeah, very similar.
I guess there's not a lot really you can do.
Yeah, a little bit wider than your defence was, but you've got them taking the wall advantage straight away.
Yeah.
I suppose you could set the Russians up with wall advantage.
Yeah. Just worry about the first prep fire coming in, but
absolutely, yeah. But they could still be concealed. Could they still be concealed? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Anyway, this is much less opportunity. No opportunity fire here. A little bit of prep fire, and then we got Steve's Germans just going straight into the road.
Yeah.
Russians prep firing now. Repositioning. Braking though whenever they get fired at.
Yeah.
Germans now pushing again.
It'd be nice to have a game where some of the Russian reinforcements come on and we can see.
It would be, wouldn't it? Yeah.
So I guess it would be interesting to see if the Russians do manage to come on again or not. But it's a tough one, isn't it? But I was wondering whether or not at the start when this scenario was kind of first published, the designers expected there to be a lot more prep fire in the first few turns, and maybe. that was that. People don't play that way anymore.
Maybe, yeah. Okay, right. Let's push forwards. I mean, we say it's balanced, and it's not perfectly balanced. Can we remember which side is?
No, I can take a look.
On the, it'd be worth having a quick look at that, wouldn't it? But the Germans are coming in strength through this building now. And the Russians are looking like there aren't many left.
So it's pro-Russian, very slightly pro-Russian on Raw.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Some of those games must be relatively recent.
Yeah.
Okay, let's press on them.
Yeah, 105 to 88.
Yeah, a little melee going on. Germans stealing the Russian machine gun. At least the Russians are getting back to that building in good order.
Yeah. This one looks,
It's not inconsequential number of them.
Right.
Okay, Germans moving forward again. Oh, is that reinforcement? No, probably not.
I don't think so, no.
Right. Germans approaching this. And I think it's quite an easy building to approach because you've got high TEM stuff all around it.
Yeah. Here comes is this reinforcements here? No.
Yeah.
No.
TI. Oh no, they're not reinforcements. Okay. There's a lot of Russians in that building. Well, you got this point blank prep fires. One squad left. Yeah, Germans coming in, swarming. It's like one of them old Western films, isn't it? With the Indians, the Native Americans swarming them.
Yeah.
It's like the Alamo.
Oh. Yeah, still here they come.
Still holding in, yeah. But
some reinforcements have come.
But they're never going to struggle to get anywhere near that building now, aren't they? They're just a little bit too late.
Now, yeah, presumably that's a machine gun, is it? Because they can bring on two. Is it 2 units they can bring on?
Yeah, so it's. I can't see.
Yeah,
that's just 1 unit. It's just 1 unit.
Well, I don't know. There's in N5.
Oh yes, you got all that stuff there. Yeah, we can't see that yet, can we?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So it looks like he's got a chunk of stuff coming on. Yeah, but we got you on. So there's a lot of fighting going on in that building. This is probably the best game in a way so far. In terms of it's the most contested.
Yeah, well, the Germans have stolen the medium machine gun.
Yeah. Yeah, look, he's getting into position to defend against the counter-attack force as well.
Yeah, they've got the heavy machine gun in there as well.
Yeah. Yeah, look, Russians breaking. Still got a unit adjacent to N2. Yeah, the Germans are stacking up ready to defend against that. That's it. He's given up at that point.
Yeah, he's given up, yeah.
But it is turn 6. So in fact, the Russians might not have a turn 7. Is that right?
No, I think they
do. No, they do.
Yeah, but I think, at that point...
It's looking pretty difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
But Mike does actually have some units left on the board.
Yes.
Which is... Which puts him in a better position than some of the other players.
That's true. All right, then, on to the next one. Okay, Jim Bishop and Dave Maresk.
So this is Jim Bishop playing as the Russians and Dave Maresk playing as the Germans. So they both got to beginner log file until the middle of Russian turn 1.
Okay, and we've got an upside down map as well. So
yeah. I mean, it's not really upside down, but yes, it's the other way, upside down to the others.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So what do we see here?
It looks like Jim's got another quite upfront defence.
Yep.
But Germans are going round the flank though.
Yes,
Which is
Oh, here's an interesting thing. Look, so we've got the C4 building. Got the medium up there and the heavy. That's interesting. All the way out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Powerful, isn't it? You can hit a few different places, I guess. Okay. So this is the middle of Russian turn. So the Russians are obviously moving. They're just moving back, really, aren't they?
Okay.
At least Jim didn't have them all trapped on level 1 in D1.
Yeah, 2 would do that. Kind of 4 would do
C1.
that.
The C1 is now a dangerous. Oh no, they're not. They're not upstairs. The Germans in C4, are they? Okay. Yeah, he's got a unit in the main building. It's the Germans now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, no. As far as we can see, no reinforcements yet.
Yeah, no, you won't get them until
turn 2. Yeah. Which is coming up, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, very orderly advance then. But Jim's got units.
Oh, look at the half squad that's made it all the way up to.
Oh wow.
C4.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it is probably just a half squad manning that gun.
It's a squad and 2. It's got the medium and a heavy up there.
Oh right, yeah. Still no reinforce. That's still the German turn, isn't it?
But the Russians have got some stuff back concealed in the building.
Yeah. It's definitely defended. Of course, it's very early in the game, isn't it? The Germans have got time to sort of close in on it.
Okay, so
I guess. But I suppose when you get the sort of the close-in fighting in the building, the heavy and the medium are less used, perhaps, over there.
Yeah, and the other thing is the half squad approaching from this way kind of locks that covered arc in place, doesn't it, as well, if he does fire.
Yeah. Yeah, Germans definitely closing in now. But this is very much contested.
It is, but if you look at for example, the E1 hex that the Germans have got, so many guys in there.
So many Germans there, yeah.
And the Russians just defending with the odd.
Yeah. I think this might be the end. I think they're having a discussion, aren't they?
Yeah, it looks like
I've got a feeling that this might have been where he conceded.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess in a way they've called it, a little bit early. I think they're talking about whether to put the guys here in H3 instead.
Yeah,
but to be fair, the Russians had a better outlook here than many of our games went to. So in theory, they have a chance of holding off there.
I mean, that heavy and that medium are going to make it difficult for the Germans infiltrating. Still, the Germans are a little bit spread out, though. As you said, they are definitely sort of closing in.
Yeah. I mean, you've still got, I suppose, I3 down on the bottom ball's got a big force.
I think and
there's nothing there to stop them coming across. I don't quite know what happened in that.
I don't think they were in I3. I think they might have moved them in the discussion.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think they were in E1, weren't they? That was the big stack that you were talking about.
Oh, okay.
I think, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So another German win. So this is the next. This was the first semi-final. So Dave Moreski is in the final.
Yes.
So let's look at the next semi-final to see who Dave will be playing.
Okay.
Okay. So we have Tim Reed is the Germans. Assad is the Russians.
Yeah, now they both bid for the Germans. So Assad got the balance for the Russians, which was an additional 628 squad.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
So here we go. Off we go. So again, it's very, very similar. They're all in that building.
Yep. Yep.
Or, well, apart from perhaps any hip units.
Yes. Yeah, and
Yeah,
the rubble as well in IO.
Oh, there's something there. That's right. They're coming straight across to the old half squads to get the. They got opportunity fast. It's very similar to the beginning of your game.
Yep.
But they got a little flanking force as well. Looking for the hips, I guess. Just trying to get behind. But have the Russians fired much? But still got concealed units, haven't they?
Yeah. Yeah. Strange.
Mm. Mm-hmm. We've got some close combats. But Russians do still seem to be in reasonable order.
Yeah,
Right,
here's the hip. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's quite a nice position, I suppose.
Yeah, would you put it? I mean, putting it up on the second floor, does that have a lot? I suppose you then get to hit the D0 L0 kind of buildings, but no fire lane.
No fire lane, but you can see over the orchards. J2 building. Yeah. It's difficult to know, isn't it? Because you've got a whole 458 and a 9-1 committed to it, and then and so you're not going to be. For the close-up fighting later, they're not going to be available.
Right,
sort of thing.
right.
Okay, so we got Germans. It's just the Russian turn, isn't it?
Yeah, the Russians are looking okay here, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, the Russians gone berserk in F1.
That'll be the extra 6-8 he had, won't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jones is certainly getting into the building now in a lot of strength and mostly concealed, but they're facing heavy machine guns and all sorts. That wall advantage has really been beneficial to this to this German. They're starting to make progress, but slower perhaps than in some of the other games.
Well, having said that, it's only turn 2 and he's in J1.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So.
Yeah.
Heroes turned up in D1.
The Berserker got killed in close combat, I think, or possibly in its charge. It's probably in the charge. So he's actually moving that medium machine gun closer to the action. Yeah. So we got even now the Russians are starting to look a little bit thin on the ground, but so are the Germans.
Right. Yeah, 6-8 in hand-to-hand melee there. Yeah, it's important to remember, isn't it? The hand-to-hand because of deluxe.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but you don't have to declare it, do you?
No,
so
it's optional.
It's an interesting choice. Anyway, they're locked in that. Germans coming around the back, I suppose, concerned about reinforcements. Oh, look, the Germans got killed in D1.
Yeah.
Russians,
I think it was only a half squad. It was a half squad and a hero, wasn't it, against the 6-8?
Yeah. It feels like there's too many Germans still in the building in C4, B4.
Yeah. I mean, they've still got 4 turns though. It's quite a long
I guess
time.
so. Yeah, it's only take 1 turn to run through, won't it? Once it's But still no reinforcements though. Maybe after this.
Yeah.
Oh, they're getting behind. Okay, here's the assault beginning. Those 6-8s are really good close-up, aren't they? Point blank, they're 12 firepower. That's exactly what they're
and
for.
in close combat as well. They're
and in close combat,
3-2s.
So we got a reinforcement.
Okay.
1628, and he's getting in there. He's getting in there. Because you got all those Germans broken in N2.
Yeah. Yeah, it's looking good for the Russians.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. Yes. Germans are struggling a little bit getting into this building.
Yeah, this is the problem where at this point the scales kind of tip towards the Russians, don't they? Because the reinforcements are going to trickle on now.
That's right, yeah.
It's going to get stronger and stronger.
Yeah. Yeah, they're in the building though. Germans are in the building. There's a close combat going on here, hand to hand. See, things it can go either way, can't it? Whatever in hand to hand, whatever the odds, it's a toss of a coin.
Yeah.
Some broken units in there as well. Another reinforcement coming on. 2 reinforcements coming on. 3 reinforcements coming on. 4. Okay, so he's got a lot of. This is starting to look like a Russian win now. You've got about 4 squads just came on.
Right. Yeah.
I think they're talking about it again, aren't they?
Yes, looks like it.
Oh no, it's still got advances. Got advances going on.
Oh, so the Russians, big wipeout almost of the melee.
So that's going to make it much harder, especially with these reinforcements are getting in the building, and they're mostly 6-8s, aren't they? Yeah. Yeah, it's starting to look very good for the Russians.
Right, yeah, that's where I guess the Germans now almost being kicked off the board.
Yeah. I'm just going to speed this up a little bit because
1 turn to go.
Yeah, they're massed in L2, the Russians, and they got 4 units in M2.
And I guess with the Russians getting the last turn as well, it does help them towards the end of the scenario. If you've got a big.
It does seem a little bit like if they don't do well in the beginning, though, that might be the game over. But as time goes on, the odds improve for them.
Yep. Yeah.
As you say, not having that last turn.
Yeah, Tim's still going for it.
Yeah. Tim's not a quitter.
He's not.
Not that I've ever been in a situation playing Tim where he was in the situation where he might have considered quitting. It's always quite the other way around. But look, there's a significant number of German squads there. I mean, you know that a player like Tim will know he can still win, although they just literally everything just broke. So
yeah.
I think that's the end of the game.
Yeah.
But quite impressive that even at the end, he was moving lots of squads in adjacent.
All right. Well, we got a Russian win, so that's that's the key thing there. So well played.
Really interesting, isn't it? I suppose the whole thing with the reinforcements is too much of a risk in a sense. You don't know what's going to happen. You might get nothing,
right?
Or you might get them all come on relatively quickly.
But the fact that they can only trickle in at best. So we played a scenario. I think you and I played it against different people in 1-1, where there's maybe you didn't play it, but there's a flamethrowing tank, and there's a tank that comes on to kind of it's like a KV1, KV2, I think, that comes on at some point. But it's one of those things where if it doesn't come on until turn 6, or for example, because you're rolling underneath the turn number again, it's almost impossible to beat that flamethrowing tank. And at least with this one, they're going to trickle in at some point, generally in a similar kind of fashion. But well played, everybody. And good.
Yes.
It was a good selection of choice from a point of view of a classic deluxe, even if it doesn't. I mean, it looks balanced on Raw now. You know, maybe the style of play is.
I can't believe that would make that big a difference. I can't believe that 20 years ago everybody would have just prep fired for 3 turns and then it would have been a balanced scenario. I think it's be interesting to see. I mean, put some comments. People put some comments down if you got some thoughts on this one, because it certainly looks not to be particularly well balanced. The only Russian win was the person who got the balance. I'm not sure that the balance in itself would have been hugely impactful.
Extra 6 to 8 seems useful.
It's certainly useful. Certainly useful. Yeah.
But
it'd be interesting in what people's views are. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you're going to pick a
final. Well, yeah. So the final. We know the final will be Assad against Dave Maresk, and I will sort out matches for all the losers brackets, the various the winners, losers, and the winners, losers, and all that. So, and I shall send those emails out to people.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. So, once again, thanks to all the Patreons that have supported us. This is obviously a tournament for the patrons. Peter A is our new patron this month, so appreciate your support, Peter. Don't forget to enable your graphics on the Scenario Archive to get your better graphics for the scenario pages. I've got another idea for a little feature coming up soon for patrons, so hopefully in a couple of weeks' time I'll show you guys a new feature on the archive to do with helping you understand the odds of various shots, defensive fire, prep fire shots, and the like. So that's something I was thinking about doing for patrons at some point.
We should do a live stream one day, don't we? I've done one of those for a while.
We should do a live stream. We should do. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Give it some thought. We'll give people some notice so they can take a day off work, whatever it is.
Get the kids off.
Cancel the wedding, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, upgrade their PC to get upgrade the internet to make sure it's a perfect viewing experience for themselves. I know what you're thinking. Yeah, definitely. We will have a think about what everyone's playing and what's going on. There's a few new bits and pieces coming out from MMP that people should look out for. I know that they're doing the starter kit expansion pack, and there's a few other something. Is it not Rivers to the Reich, but there's some other. Keep talking, Martin. I'll look it up. But
yes, so it's always good to be prepared with these sorts of things, isn't it? When you're going to mention new products coming out, and we love it when MMP bring products out, because MMP, are the ultimate in really, aren't they? In ASL publishing, obviously.
That's very true. Yeah, they're I can just see they've got expansion pack 3. I don't know what else there's a new probably a new Winter Offensive coming as well at some point, I think.
Yeah.
But there was something else. I got an email about it or something, but anyway, we'll talk about it if we get it. That's the
check your emails.
Anything else, Martin? Anything else to talk about?
No, I think we're done. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we will see you all soon. You're going to send out an email very soon to the guys playing in the tournament, and you'll figure out the final one. And
we'll have I think we'll just go from September. So we'll have September and October to play that. Then it will be the final. Will be the final round, won't it? Yeah.
Good stuff. Okay then. Well, until then, Martin, thanks very much. Until then, for everybody, thanks for watching, and we'll be back next time with a scenario and some news of a live stream as well, no doubt.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys. Thanks a lot.
Cheerio. Bye.